Yo,
The
man.
most beautiful belt in all of MMA. It's just absolutely spectacular. I keep it with me at all times. I won this belt about 3 weeks ago, and this hasn't left my sight. In my opinion, and in a lot of people's opinions, it's the most beautiful belt. It's heavy, it's awesome, it's amazing. But now I got to defend this thing. I'm going to defend it a zillion times.
From MMA Island. Christopher and Santiago with MMA Island. Coming off three straight victories in 2025, we're talking to the new RIZIN Bantamweight champion of the world, Mr. Danny Sabatello, the Italian gangster. Danny, how's it going today, man?
I'm doing great, bro. How you doing?
Pretty good, man. Before we get into the title win, I gotta talk to you about, the sacrifice that went into this fight, missing time away from your family to go to Japan and to do your thing. Can you talk to me a little bit more about the sacrifice that went into this fight?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, for starters, I'm one of the only Americans in all of RIZIN. So just that right there, with all my fights being over there in Asia, there's obviously a lot of sacrificing that goes into that. There's so much sacrificing that goes into all these MMA fighters, just as it is. We sacrifice the most with time away from family and our fights being overseas and everything, the weight cuts, all that stuff. Now, with this fight specifically, that was on New Year's Eve over in Tokyo, Japan, inside of Sayatama Arena. I didn't have a Christmas. I couldn't see my family, I couldn't see my friends, I couldn't see anybody for the holidays or anything like that. I'm from Chicago. I trained down here in South Florida at the best gym in the world at American Top Team. So I was on a plane for Christmas. It's unfortunate because obviously Christmas is an absolutely massive holiday. I'm a Christian Italian, so it's massive in my family. And no one wants to miss Christmas Eve and Christmas. But when you want to become the champion of the world, you're going to have to do things that make you uncomfortable, things that you don't want to do, things that you're going to have to sacrifice for. And I, without hesitation, missed Christmas. I would miss every single holiday. I'd miss it all, become the champion of the world. Because at the end of the day, that's all I really give a fuck about.
And for the fans at home watching, can you show them the Ryzen bantamweight strap that you have now?
Yeah.
Years ago you got the Titan FC belt. Now you have the Ryzen belt. How
Yeah,
does it
this is
feel,
the
man?
most beautiful belt in all of MMA. It's just absolutely spectacular. I keep it with me at all times. I won this belt about 3 weeks ago, and this hasn't left my sight. In my opinion, and in a lot of people's opinions, it's the most beautiful belt. It's heavy, it's awesome, it's amazing. But now I got to defend this thing. I'm going to defend it a zillion times. I'm already looking forward to my next fight. And I can't let this thing up. Given how beautiful this thing is, given how amazing it is, given Kyoji Horiguchi was also the bantamweight RIZIN champion of the world. This needs to stay at American Top Team, and I need to do my job and beat all these motherfuckers.
Awesome, man. When did you get back in the States? And I guess what have the messages and the reception like been from your team and American Top Team as well as your family, man?
Yeah, so I leave after my fights the day after. I don't treat this as a vacation. I treat this as a business trip. I'm going away at war. I'm on a mission. I can't get carried away with anything like that. It's tough because you go into a country like Japan, which is absolutely amazing, clean, safe, great food. Everybody's so nice. And you could go on and on about that place. I think that's a place that everybody should visit at some point in their life, whether it be for a rising event or not. It's just an immaculate place. But when I go over there, I need my eyes on one thing and one thing only. That's beating the shit out of my opponent. So I don't want to be caught up in planning anything after the fight and then fight week thinking about that. I know during fight week with the weight cutting, you're always thinking about where to go to eat and all that. And I know I would be planning on vacation after the fight if I were to stay. So I never stay. I get the fuck out of there. That's a business trip. That's a mission. It doesn't matter where the fuck I'm fighting. I leave the next day, always, no matter what, because that's the mission. Now, I'll probably go to Japan at some point this year just for a little vacation because the place is amazing. But for my fights, I don't vacation, not even after. I come back to the States, see my friends, family, and I celebrate. But the reception from everybody has been absolutely amazing. I think a lot of people here in the States don't know too much about RIZIN, but it's getting even more popular with me being in the promotion. Obviously with the time change over there in Japan right now, they're 14 hours ahead. It's just not an event most people can watch here in the States because it starts at around 4 a.m. So now that I've won and I've kind of shared my journey and my story, I think a lot of people are really into RIZIN. I think when you look at their shows and their production and how awesome it is and how amazing they do things over there, I think everybody's starting to realize that show is absolutely legit. I have fighters DMing me on social media asking me to try to get them into RIZIN, but you know what? That's not my job. It'd be amazing to have all these Americans over there in RIZIN, but ultimately it's up to them. But the response has been amazing. I walked into American Top Team with my belt. Everybody stopped their classes and they kind of cheer for the champion that comes inside the gym, and everybody's very happy for me. Everybody knows the sacrifices that go into being a champion in MMA, so everybody's very happy for me. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of haters on me because I'm Danny Sabatello. People hate me, and I fucking love that shit too. But we shut the haters up. The haters can still go fuck themselves, but everybody else rooting for me, it's been absolutely amazing.
Mm-hmm. Naoki Inoue tougher than expected.
Yeah, he was very fast, especially on the feet. He was quick. We knew he was going to be quick and we knew he was going to be long. He has a really rangy jab, a good calf kick. But when you get in there and you really feel it, you realize that guy's very elite. He's very good. He's their guy for a reason. A lot of people over there in Japan thought he was going to beat me. I'm thick-skinned. I can read things and not let it get to me. So sometimes I do go on message boards and social media and see what people are saying over there in Japan just to see what the vibe is like and the thoughts are like. And I know a lot of people thought that maybe they wanted me to win, but they thought Naoki Inoue was their guy in Japan and he's just too good. But I showed them he's not. But my personal opinion, he was very good. He was quick in there, fast. He had somewhat of a good gas tank, but I always gas these guys out and end up breaking them, and that's exactly what happened in the fight.
This was what, like 3 fights in 7 months, right? And like how tough was that of the schedule?
Yeah, that wasn't tough at all. I love to fight. If it were up to me, I would have 17 fights in 7 months. I absolutely love fighting. I absolutely love training. My coaches said if I want to take some time off after becoming the champion, I can, but I haven't. I hopped right back in the gym just because I don't see a point for taking a little break. I absolutely love fighting and I absolutely love training at the best gym in the world with the world's best fighters. So why would I take some time off? It doesn't make sense to me. Already looking forward to my next fight. Hopefully it's soon. I want to fight as much as possible. I'm not one of these fighters that kind of waits around and doesn't really fight. For up to me throughout my entire career, I would fight back to back to back to back. I fight injured, I fight not injured, hurt, not hurt. It doesn't fucking matter. Line me up my next fight because at the end of the day, I'm a fighter and this is what I do. I absolutely enjoy doing this. I love doing this, and there's no excuse not to be back inside that ring as soon as possible.
When you say that you want to defend the belt like a gazillion times, I guess what do you mean by that? Like, do you want to break records? And when I mean records, I mean like Demetrius Johnson. Like he racked up like what 12, 13 title defenses. Like, is are those the numbers that you're looking for in Ryzen?
Yeah, I'm looking for more so on the verge of 84, 85, 87, 89. Hopefully I can hit that 90s number. 100 might be pushing it just because that's a lot of fights, but it can be eventually on the horizon, seeing how everything goes, seeing how many events RIZIN puts on and everything like that. But you know what? The ball is in their court. It's more so up to them. I will fight as soon as possible. It will just be a matter of how many events can I get on. But I absolutely want to defend this belt 87 times. I want to show that I am the best thing to happen to Japan. I'm the best thing to happen to the promotion. And I feel a sense of responsibility to grow this company. RIZIN has the best people working for it. Their production's absolutely amazing. Their New Year's Eve show was absolutely fireworks. There was a chorustra, there was smoke, there was fire. The walkouts are absolutely insane. Everybody loves the RIZIN shows, and I implore everybody, if you haven't seen a RIZIN show, maybe watch a rerun or something like that. I promise you're not going to be disappointed. The good thing about the RIZIN shows is you don't have to be an absolute fight fan. You don't have to be a die-hard killer fight fan. Just enjoy the show as it is. Just you're gonna enjoy it purely as entertainment. But in terms of me fighting and defending this belt 87 times, that absolutely will happen. It's just a matter of when.
What's next?
Yeah, I'm hoping for a March card, but I haven't gotten too much word on March. I know they're having a card. They also have a card in April. Sakakibara said that they're going to have around 10 events this year. I'm hoping to get maybe 8 title defenses. So hopefully I could get on a card quick Whether it's March, April, or May, I don't know. What I can promise the fans and everybody at home is whenever they do offer me, I will say yes. Just like all of my fights, I have said yes to every fight inside of my career. I've never turned anybody down. And also inside my career, which is 20 plus pro fights, I've never backed out of a fight. I've never said, ooh, I'm hurt or oh, I'm sick or anything like that. So whenever I say I'm ready to fight, I show up and I fight always. I make weight. I am the absolute professional in this game. But hopefully, what's next is something soon. I'm looking at Fukuda. I'm also looking at a guy named Joji Gaudo. If Ando wants to step up and fight, I can obviously beat the shit out of him. But in my eyes right now, the guys that make the most sense is Ryuya Fukuda, who had a great knockout on New Year's Eve, and also Joji Goto, who had another great win on New Year's Eve. Those two guys kind of line up. Those two little pipsqueaks can get it whenever they're ready, whenever RIZIN wants to put me on their show. And then from there, we make this an even bigger fight than my last one.
At what age did Danny Sabatello know that he was going to be world champion someday?
The day I was born, I knew that I was going to be an absolute fighter when I was maybe 0.01 days old. I knew that I needed to get inside of that ring and beat the shit out of people. It's just been my God-given talent to be good at that. I'm athletic with it. I do have the God-given ability to cut weight and be tough as fuck and athletic in all areas. So it's just a good thing that I am following through with God's orders of fighting, just because that's what I'm meant to do on this earth. But being good at wrestling my whole life, I wrestled my entire life. I started at the age of 4 with always the intent to go into fighting when I'm done. And it's just what I'm meant to do, and it's what I love to do. When you're a tough motherfucker, you should go into fighting. If you're not a tough motherfucker, you go into soccer or basketball or football or baseball. Something with a ball, some little cute game. But when you're an absolute savage, you go into fighting, and that's what I am. I'm an absolute savage.
I'd love to get your thoughts on Brett Johns retiring. Obviously, you made his your Bellator debut against him in 2021. Was that on short notice as well?
Yeah, that was on 5 days' notice. I took it against Brett Johns. He was top 10 in the UFC at that point. He then came over to Bellator because they offered him a great deal. That was one of the best fights of my career, one of the most memorable because that was one of the worst weight cuts. But like how I said earlier, I don't fucking miss weight. I don't care if it's on 5 days, 4 days, 4 hours notice. I always make the weight. With him specifically, it was a great fight because it was my opening door into a major promotion in Bellator, which was just absolutely amazing. And everybody will just say great things about Bellator because that's the promotion that it was. But with Brett Johns retiring, I want to say congratulations to him. He had a great career. When you make it top 10 inside of a major promotion like the UFC, that's something that not a lot of people put on earth can do. So that guy is an absolute legend. I know he's an absolute legend of his country. It makes it even more impressive being from where he's from to get to where he was. So nothing but great things for him. And that was a great fight of mine. That win over him on 4 days notice in one of the biggest promotions at the time was absolutely legendary. And it's something that I'll never forget.
What was it like going to Japan with Charles Rosa? I believe he was in your corner for this one.
Yeah, Charles Rosa is the man. He's a UFC veteran. He had some great fights in the UFC. He's still fighting. He does some crazy things. He sometimes fights on ice skates down here at BKFC on ice, which is awesome. But Charles has been my boy for a while. He was one of my first friends at American Top Team. So to have him in my corner alongside of my head coach, who's always in my corner, Mike Brown, was just awesome. When you have good people in your corner and good energy on fight week, good energy of people that would kill and die for you in the heat of battle. On fight night when you're walking into the ring and you're walking into the unknown of not what the fuck is gonna go on against a guy from a foreign land in his land, and people are cheering for him, and deep down they want the other guy to win because he's their country hero. And I have Charles Rosa and Mike Brown in my corner. That's just the coolest thing ever. Charles is awesome. Charles is the man. I believe he's gonna have some sort of fight coming up soon, but I can't break the news or anything like that. But it was awesome having him in my corner. Another American, also with Mike Brown, the best coach in MMA. How can I lose in front of those guys?
Yeah, and I guess can you talk to me a little bit more about the circle of people that you have around you? Because obviously it's not just your team too, it's your family who supported you for many years, I guess. Uh, and have you went back to Chicago? And I guess do you plan to go back to Chicago later this year to, really celebrate with the family and, go back to your roots?
Yeah, I have the best sports system ever. You know, family, friends, teammates, coaches. Obviously, everybody sees that I'm at American Top Team, which everybody knows is the best gym. So with my coaches and my teammates and Dan Lambert, the owner at American Top Team, the staff over there, obviously everybody sees that they are a great support system and they are the reason that I am a champion. But also with my friends and family, they couldn't be any more supportive. And the thing about being a fighter is you can't always be there for these people. You know, I got two older brothers, Joey and Vinny. Joey has three beautiful kids. I'm missing birthday parties. I'm missing holidays. I'm missing time with the family, but they're completely understanding. You know, this is the tough wrestling and fighting life that I've always had. I've really never been able to celebrate all the holidays in a year. Even growing up, I couldn't celebrate Thanksgiving because we always had a massive tournament the day after Thanksgiving. So it's kind of something that my family and my friends are used to growing up. You know, there's just going to be times where I'm not going to be able to do things. And there's going to be times that I'm not going to be able to show up places because I'm in my own mind and I'm crazy. Sometimes I can't go out on a Friday night and I can't say why. It's because I have to be in the fucking gym. If I don't have a fight lined up and I absolutely can't do some things, sometimes I say fuck no because I gotta be tough. I gotta be hard. I gotta be hard nosed. I can't be playing fucking pussy shit in the fucking club and bars all the time. I need to stay tough. I need to stay focused. And when I'm tough and I'm focused, that's when I am the champion of the world. And my friends and family are very supportive. They understand that. They know I'm a little bit wired differently, a little bit crazy, but they also understand that's what it takes to get to the top. You know, obviously, average people aren't champions in life. It takes sacrificing and dedication, and it takes a team of people to understand that. And that's exactly what I have.
Awesome, Danny. Well, I think that solves the questions I had for you today, man. I just want to thank you again for the time, as always, man. And it's been always great to see you and to cover your career. And just congrats on the world championship, man. It's really awesome to see.
Yep, absolutely. And thank you for the time, bro. Always love coming on and talking to you.